And I am glad to see all of you today. Thank you so much for being here today. So I want to go through kind of three big pieces that are instrumental in being able to make what has happened over the last year possible. And so the first thing that has made this possible over the last 3 years has been generosity. And generosity plays out in a couple different ways. So the first big piece of generosity that has made this space possible is the generosity of the Reformed classis. And so as Heather said, this building was built in 1914 to be the congregational home of the Third Reformed Church. And so from 1914 until 2022, that congregation met here most Sundays, I'm assuming. And that congregation was an amazing model for kind of the same thing that we are doing, is they would meet for Sunday mornings, but then they would also open up the building throughout the week. And so AA meetings, community dinners, thrift store, Boy Scouts, lots of really amazing things happened in this building. And it was a huge community resource for a whole bunch of years. But when that congregation kind of went through its life cycle and it was to its end, the Reformed classes owned the building, and they had a choice that they could sell the building and the property for the most amount of money or the most amount of impact. And they decided that they would sell the building for basically nothing. So we bought the building for just $20,000, which is pretty amazing, which covered their cost from the past year while the building was vacant. There was still water, utility costs, things like that. And so I'm just incredibly, every time you come into this space, just try to think about the honor that we should give the Third Reformed Church. And whenever you go past a Reformed church, big First Reformed Church downtown Albany, Bethany Reformed over on New Scotland Avenue, they are all part of this group of churches called the Reformed classis, and they are the ones who made this building possible for us. And so very thankful for their generosity in that. Second part of generosity is, as you guys can see on your sheets, so far, that $20,000 has been added to another $450,000-ish. So we have put $472,000 into this building so far to buy it and to do all of the renovations. And we have done it all in cash with no debt. And the reason, the reason why we were able to do that is because a lot of individuals have given money to make that possible, including many, if not all of you. And what I think is so cool is it's over 140 individual gifts that have made this possible. Some of those are from kids and teenagers giving dollars that are significant amounts of dollars to them. Some of it has been through people that have been able to give hundreds of dollars. Some of it has been by people who've been able to give thousands of dollars, and some of people have been able to give tens of thousands of dollars. But it has not been some really wealthy people or government grants or anything else. So actually, so far, we've only gotten grants. We're going to keep applying for more, don't worry. But we've been awarded one grant so far for $5,000, which helped pay for our signs. Everything else has been paid for by individuals who have given money. And so for all of you that have given a little bit, for those of you that have given a lot, for all that have given all in between, we know it's really all a lot for each of us as we're trying to be generous in our own way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has made this whole thing possible. The next part of generosity is any good construction person will tell you, everything that we've been able to do in this building over the last year should not have only cost $470,000. We have put way more into this. And the reason why that's possible is two reasons. One, volunteers. All of you who came and helped haul trash out of the building, all of you who helped clean, all of you who helped paint, all of you who helped do skill and unskilled work saved us thousands and thousands of dollars that we didn't have to pay contractors. And so thank you to all of you who are able to give man and woman hours to volunteer to make this possible. And lastly, thank you. Last part of that is that we had some amazing contractors. And so the contractors that we've been able to bring on a part of this have given us all kinds of different in-kind and just straight up donations. And they have saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars that we would have had to pay, but they did things at cost. They did things below cost. They found things in their warehouses that they just donated to us. And we have had some of the best construction companies. And so if you ever are doing any work with your company, or you're ever doing any work on your house and you need a construction company, please call me, because I would love to recommend some of these people, because they are amazingly generous business people in our community who have helped do great work around here and have done so at oftentimes a loss to themselves. And so that has all made it possible. And so thank you for all of them. Next thing that has made this possible is flexibility. And this also comes in at least two different ways. So on your program there, you can see this is our calendar from the last year. You know, there's a lot more that's happened obviously in there. So we took possession of the building last year, March 1st. Nothing had been done on the building. We had our open house last year on May 18th, and that was amazing. But what you can see is on all these, in between these big dates, are all kinds of huge construction projects. So we took possession March 1st. You couldn't inhabit the building because it was so just kind of mold ridden. And so between March 1st and May 18th is when we got rid of all of the mold. But when you came in on May 18th last year, there were still huge amounts that needed done. And so right after May 18th, literally the day after, there was crews in here that were tearing down walls and continuing the work. But then July 12th, we had our first service for Christ Church Albany, and then July 13th is when we had our first big community program, which was a summer camp run by Batman and Nightwing, who you're gonna meet in a second. We had 30, 40 kids here, all kinds of counselors, and as you can see below there, we had not checked off the box yet of completing the bathrooms. We had not yet checked off the box of having working lights in every room. There was many places that were still very, very rough. And all of you who have participated in services, participated in different community events, you have come in, utilized the building while it was still in process. You had to move paint cans and scaffolding out of the way. You might have had to deal with some jackhammering in the background while your event was going on. And that, I think, is such a powerful metaphor for both the space and for each of us in our own individual lives. The goal of this space is to be able to make a difference in the community. And I believe the goal for all of us is to make a difference in the world in which we live. And many times we can believe a lie that for us to really get our full use, we have to be done first. And once we're finished, once the construction is over, then we can start utilizing and sharing the space. And that is simply not true with this building. And more importantly, it's not true with you. You don't have to have your life in order. You don't have to have your finances in order. You don't have to have all your questions and doubts in order. You can right now, as you're still in process, make a huge impact in this world. And I hope every time you walk in this building, you see that. It's a reminder for this building and for you. The second part of flexibility is that this is a shared space. So as you see, lots of different events happening, which means that every room is being used by multiple organizations. And that can be a little bit of attention. I grew up in church world. In a church I worked at in college, there was this really sweet old lady, and she taught Sunday school. And so she had a Sunday school room, and she came to the leaders of the church one day and said, would it be possible for you to put a padlock and a deadbolt on my classroom door? Because I want to make sure that when I get done teaching on Sunday, that it's locked and nobody else messes with my stuff during the week, so that when I come in, everything is exactly the way I want it. And I get that. it would be kind of nice just to be able to set and just have everything just be the way that you want it to be all the time. But that is not the story for all of you that are utilizing this space. Whether you're teaching a class, whether you're doing an event, there's all kinds, you're setting up or tearing down for some other event that happened before, because we're utilizing these spaces in so many different ways. This room over the last week has been multiple different things, including 2 weeks ago. Showed a little bit of a slide of this earlier. Albany Fund for Education had their gala in here, and so they were doing dancing and the electric slide here. And what I think is pretty fun is that in this video, the gentleman right there, that's Congressman Paul Tonko doing the electric slide in our building. Because we want this building and this room to be able to be used for all kinds of different stuff. And it's that flexible spirit that has really made this space possible. And then last one is partnership. We have such big dreams, and I know so many of you do. The world we live in has so much potential for good, and we can all work together. But we will do the most amount of impact when we are working not in silos, but when we are working together in partnership. And so the goal of this building is not to be the home for one organization, but to be the home for multiple different organizations. And so I want to introduce you to 5 of the community partners that are utilizing this building on a regular basis and let you hear from them. And so Valerie, Melissa, Batman, Aaron, Rifat, if you guys can all come on up and join me. These guys are amazing. I think the woo is for you. What's up, guys? Thanks for being here. So I've asked each of them to share, so if you could share your name, share your organization, but just give us a little glimpse into how you are utilizing this space and what it means for you to be able to have a generous, shared, flexible space. And so we said we'd start off with Miss Val.
Good morning. So our program is the Albany Community Land Trust Gun Violence Prevention Program. Pastor Mike is the coordinator of that program. We've been able to use this space for a lot of our programming. So one of the biggest things that we were able to have here is our Toys for Tots. We had it right here in this room, but it also allowed us to invite programs in that did not have space to do their Toys for Tots. So that Pastor Jonathan gave us the whole entire building. So we were downstairs, we used the classrooms for the smaller organizations, we used the cafe downstairs in the kitchen for the food programs downstairs. So, I mean, it was quite a few thousand kids in this building back in December. It was a huge event. We had books with the red bookshelf. New York State Teachers Association brought books in. Toys from everywhere. The greatest thing about it is that we had so much space, the kids were able to come in and pick out their own toys. So we didn't have to guess, well, give this for this child, this for that child. The kids came in and picked out their own toys, and they were so grateful. We had parents crying all over the building that, you know, this was the first time that they were able to come in, grandparents, and get toys for their kids. It was so much food. It was food for everybody, but it was an awesome event. We can't thank Pastor Jonathan, Rebecca, and Heather enough for all the events that we've had here. We've had award ceremonies here, which were absolutely beautiful. We have meetings. Actually, one of our meetings was on the screen. We have collaboration meetings. So back in late 2023, going into 2024, I retired from the state after 39 and a half years. So I worked in an office, but I traveled from Long Island to Rochester working, and I decided that I was going to go and give back. So I went to the land trust to volunteer. Well, volunteer turned into a full-time job because it was needed. I saw things that was going on that I did not see before, and I searched for Pastor Mike because I knew Pastor Mike knew the community, and the RISE project came up, gave us an opportunity to have this program. So we've been working in this program, and we have a lot of initiatives now. We have a POP program, Positive Outlook program. We take 10 kids at a time for 16 weeks that are on probation. So we have meetings, we talk with parents, we try to get those kids back in school. They meet our mentors, they meet our counselors weekly. So we're going into our 4th cohort now, and kids are doing great, and we keep monitoring them all the way straight through school. We have the Men on a Mission. Our goal is to get 1,000 men to do mentorship to young people, and we are working on that. We have our FLASH program, which is Faith Leaders and Stakeholders, bringing the churches together for what churches can use their space, just like as Pastor Jonathan does throughout the community. And we service churches with groceries and stuff for people to be able to walk in distance to where they live, because some people carry kids with them, right? So, and we bring groceries here because we meet here, so we just keep Pastor Jonathan's table filled because there's a lot of community people that walk into here and they need the help. But we've had all kind of events here, and we're hoping this summer to have great picnics and cookouts and, keep going as we all come together, because we cannot do this alone. We need everybody working to make things better for everybody.
Thank you. Yes, please. Absolutely great, amazing work. So my name is, for those who don't know, my name is Aaron Moore. I'm the founder and creative director of Acting with Aaron. We are a theater arts education company where we bring the theater arts to underrepresented and underserved communities. We started skull and bones back in 2012. We were it was just me. I say we, but it was just me. I was going from different locations all over the city. I didn't have a car, so it was kind of just me, dead of winter, middle of heat wave summer, rain, sleet, snow, going to different locations all around the capital region to provide arts education to places in Schenectady, Troy, Albany, a few other places in the capital region. We decided to form because we realized that we were bringing that there was a huge gap between theater art programs and reaching into underfinanced and underserved population communities here in the capital region, where we had a lot of students from K through 12 that if even in their school didn't have adequate or none at all arts education. So basically what that means are students that were interested in musical theater, they're interested in theater, they're interested in acting, writing, performing on stage, didn't have access, or like the access that they did have, they couldn't afford. Theater programs at that time were $400, $500, all the way to $800 to $1,000. I couldn't even afford that program. So we had a lot of reach out and ask from parents and organizations that were basically like, hey, I have a son, I have a daughter, I have a child who's interested in theater, but their school doesn't offer a program, or they couldn't get into the program that they offer, and all the other programs that were around are way out of I can't afford it. So if you can just would you mind meeting with my child at the library, at this community center, at this place after school? We were meeting in churches, we were meeting in people's churches, we were meeting in community centers, we were meeting in libraries. And I think now that we're here, especially the librarians, we're really glad that we're no longer meeting in there, because I don't know, somebody, screaming, "You can't handle the truth," in the middle of a library was not good advertisement. So they were like, "Oh, you're leaving?" So we doing program for that long. We ended up, I'm a member here at Christ Church Albany, and I've known John for many years, and when John got in Christ Church bought this place, one of the main things, they came to us and was like, "Hey, if you want a space here, we'll be more than happy to provide you one." And we were just ecstatic, and we really appreciate it, because for those of you who don't know, getting a space here in Albany, there's multiple hoops you have to jump over, and some of that is insurance-based reasons and things, but others, unfortunately, are race-based reasons, where they basically don't want people messing up their space. So you either had to pay an arm and a leg to rent a space, you had to write up an application, then you had to get that application approved by an all-white executive board, and then they had to approve it, and then once that is approved, you have to go back to it was just multiple unnecessary hoops. I was like, hey, we just want to sing the whiz, man. That's all we want to do, and it was really unfortunate, and it was really frustrating, just the hoops you had to go to just to get a space to provide kids and people with arts. And so one of the things John was basically, I was like, hey, well, yeah, we want to do classes, we want to do this, we want to do that, and I think the few words out of John's mouth was like, well, hey, do you mind locking up when you're done? And that was something that really touched my heart, and we really appreciated it, especially being here in the heart of Albany with a lot of action and energy going on. So it's something we're really proud of. So here at the Love Albany Center, we have done a couple things. One, we did our rehearsals. We put on a Raisin in the Sun for Sand Lake Center for the Arts up in Averill Park, but we got to do our rehearsals here because most of our actors were Albany based and didn't have a car, so we got to do our rehearsals here. So if you were here and you heard us downstairs, that was us doing that. We got to do acting classes here for teenagers throughout 2 days throughout the week, which was amazing. And we did our fundraiser, the Wanda Webster fundraiser, which was a fundraiser for the Underground Railroad Center. Our first inaugural year and our first night was here in the Love Albany Center. We were packed out at night. We had some good food going. We had some wonderful performers singing, and it was such a beautiful and wonderful night, and it was just so impactful. And we want to again thank the Love Albany Center for hosting us that night, and we made such an impact on the Underground Railroad Center. They were ecstatic. They're like, wow, we didn't even know this place existed. And and we appreciate it, because so many other people from that night had said, hey, how can we want to use this space for an event. We want to do something for this event. And they got to meet John and Pastor John and whatnot. So it was such a beautiful night. We want to come back here for the next coming year to provide acting classes again for our Albany youth. We also want to provide playwriting classes for our veterans as well, and we also want to provide theater arts therapeutic programs for our recently incarcerated. So that's sort of on the next wave of programming coming from Acting with Aaron, so we're planning that. We couldn't be more appreciative and prouder of the Love Albany Center. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron and Valerie, and good morning, church. My name is Rifat Filkins, and I'm Community Development Director at the Capital District YMCA. And I just want to start with this, that throughout my career, my focus is always on collaborations and networking. And so Love Albany Center is just ideal place for me. And I have been involved since day one, I want to say. And it's been just a blessing from day one. The programs that we run here at Love Albany Center are very needed, and for the community, that is very important in our Albany city, since we have a lot of refugee and immigrant population in our city, and it's a diverse city. But there are very particular needs as well. So I just feel like we have 3 adult ESL classes. On our Saturday classes, actually, children are welcome too, and we have lesson plans and volunteers to work with them. 2 of our classes are partnership with the literacy volunteers, and then we have a music class for Indian and Pakistani music on Sunday. We have 2 yoga classes run in the basement, and those have been. And I always say that these programs are not just like sitting in a class for 1.5 hours and learn English, but it's all about building community and knowing where we can help. So it starts with the ESL class, but then, we are laughing together, we are building community, we are eating together, we are talking about, we are learning about women who never had opportunity to swim, so we are offering free swim lessons for them. Or kids who do not get that much chance to play, we are offering free soccer programs for them. So the idea always is what are the needs in the community and where we can help and where we can partner with other people, like wonderful people around me, and how we can serve our community better together. And with all these programs, I also have a monthly women group that meets here. And when I'm talking about these programs, these are the people who really don't get chance to be out of their houses, but this is like great opportunity for them to be together. I also it would be not fair if I don't mention Heather and Pastor and Rebecca and Mike and other people, which I don't even, sometimes I don't know the names, but they are always reachable. They're always, very responsive to everything. And one thing I want to finish with is, yesterday I was talking to my volunteers, and they said from the day one, when they entered in this building at Love Albany Center, they feel very welcomed, and it just gets better and better every day. So thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melissa Snyder. I'm the Annual Fund and Events Manager at Wildwood Programs, and we support people with developmental disabilities like autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and other complex learning and intellectual disabilities. In the video here, you saw a clip from one of our arts classes. So we offer a wide range of comprehensive programs and services. We support 1,600 people across 10 counties here in the Capital Region each year. And something that we value at Wildwood, aside from our mission of empowering people, giving them opportunities to be more fulfilled, productive, live independently, we really value inclusion. So yes, we have buildings leased by Wildwood where we can hold workshops and events, but it really limits us where people we support and our staff, they're the only people present. So finding a community space like here at Love Albany has honestly been a godsend, no pun intended, because we're able to have these organic social interactions. For instance, at one of our music classes, there was a father and son passing through in the space. They heard the music and it drew them in, and the father came in and started playing the drums. So that wouldn't be possible in a Wildwood space. So we're very grateful to have this collaboration. Like you, I do a lot of networking and find new connections and collaborations in the community. So this partnership is very meaningful. And I have to thank Sarah for introducing me to Serve Albany, which is how I got involved with Love Albany and learned all about you guys. So we love having our weekly art therapy and music therapy here at Love Albany. And in the future, we're looking forward to actually opening that up to the public. So it won't just be Wildwood programming. So thank you.
I'm Batman. I do crazy things. We do programs. I'm executive director of the Red Bookshelf. I'm board president of Big Brother Big Sister. I'm vice president of Albany Fund for Education, where we got Tonko to do the dance. That was great. And actually, at the same time, the superintendent was on the drums, right? And there's just a clear balance between there's kids in here one day and a board meeting the next day. And then there's a community dinner another day, and there's dance classes, another day. It's truly become that third space that, was always envisioned and was always missing. Again, I have crazy people on my team that can do everything, and I have committed people. We have crazy ideas, but we never had a space. So we jumped on the opportunity to run a summer camp here, and we held hands and visited the porta potties together. And Flash was learning I call him Pastor Flash because he's everywhere, and he's literally probably the fastest pastor I know, honestly. But this guy was learning construction. He was negotiating for tiles and ceiling stuff, and he's like, I got carpet for a great deal. I'm like, okay, cool. But he was so invested in making it work and figuring out how, right? And for me, that's been the best part about this is we always wanted it to be open to everybody and for that energy to feel welcoming at all times. And again, Heather, Rebecca, you guys have been incredible. Becca will text me about something. Hey, can we do this? Hey, can we? And I'll text her, can we? And we're always like, let's just figure out how. That's it. We'll just figure out how to make it work. And I think that message has kind of gotten to the community at large. When it first happened, when we first got the building and everything, people were like, oh, what's this? This seems like a cool space. Now, people are like, oh man, hey, can I use it this time? Can I do this over here? And do you think we can get on the calendar? And it's living, it's breathing, and it has become that thing that was missing for so long. And I think what's even more incredible is because so many people came together, there's an empowering story that I tell everybody who walks through these doors. I'm like, you need to know how this happened. I believe in the model. I believe this model can be replicated, that if we coordinate our resources, we can create the most insane things. And this is proof of that. And it's been beautiful because everybody who comes into the building, they understand and they respect the space, right? We've had, when we did our summer camp, kids were leaving, and they're like, can we help you clean up? Can we help sweep? Because I told them, this is part of the origin story of this building. We're all on superhero stuff. And I'm like, taking pictures, you're gonna be able to tell people you were part of the first class that did this. And they jumped in and they love it. And now when they see it, they're like, Batman, I remember when this was, yeah. And look at what we all built together. During these days, that message of positivity, of tangible impact that you can see, that you can touch, that you can visit, I don't know if there's a more inspiring story and message out there. So it's become all the things. I'm always here. I bother Pastor and everybody else for everything. Heather's probably sick of me. I'm always like, oh, can we do this? But it's been beautiful, and it wouldn't be possible without everyone kicking in and sharing. And it means more than you know. And I'm going to try not to ramble too much, but I'm 40-ish, right? Somewhere around there. But I watched in Albany, we lose every community center. We were losing programs. We were losing this. We were losing that. And I feel like now we have difficulties because we're reaping what we sow of not having resources for kids, not having community spaces that we build together. A couple years later, it gets rough, right? But this is the solution. This is the long-term investment and dedication between all of us that builds community, and we learn each other and we love each other, and that's just how it goes. So I'm incredibly grateful for everybody, everyone, and even the construction people that you mentioned. They were insane, bro. They were sleeping here sometimes. They were cooking meals. They traveled. Everyone contributed. It just was all worth it. I promise you it was worth it. It means the world to the kids, the families. This is what love looks like. I feel like everybody should be doing this. I'm confused why people don't, but I'm like, this works and it feels good and it matters and it does all the things. So thank you all for being a part of this, and thank you for letting me ramble for so long.
Love it. All right. We're gonna try 3 things right now. So I'm gonna invite you into 3 different things today, all right? The first one is I want to invite you into celebration, because this is a story that is unveiled over the last year and so many cool things have happened. And again, it can be very easy to be like, okay, we're gonna different folks have asked, like, when are we gonna have like a grand opening? I was like, I don't honestly know if we will, because like we have so many different projects we're gonna continue to do. But it can be easy. It's like, okay, let's like really celebrate once everything is like finished and complete. And you know what? I think right now, where we currently are, with the programs already happening, is a great chance to celebrate. And so I want to invite you into a moment of joint celebration. And I don't know what your world looks like. Maybe it's football, basketball, maybe it's a concert. There's somewhere where you have been where you know how to celebrate. You know what it looks like to woo. You know what it's like to clap. You know what it's like to move a little bit. You know what it's like. And so we're going to have a moment here of celebration, and I want to invite you to whatever that looks like in your world. And so I have some help. And so this is our friend Christian. So he's going to be on the drums. And then we have Aaron. He's agreed to be our hype guy. But they're gonna look a little ridiculous if we don't all jump in this, all right? So we need a moment of joint celebration. So everyone needs to stand up. You can't celebrate sitting down, rule number 1. And we're gonna have a moment here of celebration when I say go. Everybody ready? Have an idea of what you're gonna do? All right, and by moment, I mean like, we're looking for at least 30 seconds, if not a minute, okay? So this isn't like a woo and sit back down, okay? We need some constant.
Yeah,
so,
we need that energy.
All right, you ready? All right, here we go. Ready, set, celebrate!
All right, put your hands together. Christchurch Albany for the Love Albany Center. Put your hands together if you got to come to the Love Albany Center. If you got to eat at the Love Albany Center. If you got to sing and dance at the Love Albany Center. If you got to go to an event at the Love Albany Center. If you gave money to the Love Albany Center. If you learned something new at the Love Albany Center. Keep it going. One more time for the Love Albany Center. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank all of you. Hands together for Pastor John and the staff at the Love Albany Center. For these wonderful community leaders. Round of applause for yourself. All right. All right, thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your tireless love and support right here at the Love Albany Center.
I knew I picked the right guy. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give all you guys a shot in a second. Stay for a second, guys. I need you guys for one more moment. You guys can sit though. I won't make you dance in a second. Second thing I want to invite you to is to give. Like we've said, it's been amazing what we've been able to accomplish so far, and we've been able to use this building while we're still working through so many different construction things. And there are so many different construction things that we would really like to continue to do, including, if you've ever been here for an event, expanding the parking lot, making the windows not quite so energy inefficient on the windows here and the windows in the classrooms. We need to repoint the exterior. We have lots of things that we want to do, but our board has decided that there is 2 things that we need to do, because while we love this space and while we love to be able to utilize it, it is not as accessible for everybody in our community as what it should be. And the goal of this space is we want everybody to be able to come in. And so if anyone feels excluded for any reason, that's a real problem with us. And so the 2 main issues that we want to address is 1, accessibility in this part of the building for anyone who has any kind of physical disabilities, has a tough time with mobility. It is very difficult to impossible for them to come into the auditorium or for them to come into the cafe. So we have some plans drawn up from some architects. We have some budgets of how we can create an accessible entrance. And so when you come in the lobby there would be a ramp that would come right into this space. We can add an ADA accessible bathroom on this floor. And this floor itself would be level so that the whole thing would be accessible. So for all kinds of different community events, it could be available for every single person. And that's a big, big deal. The second is noise. As you might have noticed, if you've been here for anything or just this morning, if someone's whispering over there, you're like, shh, can you be quiet? Because it's just so echoey in here, because apparently in 1914 they wanted things that maybe they're a very quiet congregation, I don't really know, but it is very echoey, and so we want to be able to make it less noisy for everybody because it's distracting. But especially if some people are more noise sensitive, or especially if you're neurodivergent, it can be very difficult for you to really even come into the space if it just is so noisy and so echoey. And so some of you have already experienced the transition that can happen. If you go out into our classroom spaces, we've already put acoustical treatment in all of the classrooms because they were so echoey you almost couldn't use them. And so when you leave this presentation, go out into the hallway, talk in the hallway, and then keep talking and walk into the classroom and walk back out and just notice the difference. And then we want to be able to add that same level of acoustical treatment into this room, into the cafe, downstairs in the basement, and out in the hallway. And that is going to make it better for all of us who are trying to ever present or do anything, but especially for folks who right now are like, would just feel overwhelmed even coming into the space. We want to make it accessible for them. And so we want to be able to raise $350,000 is the estimates we've gotten, which again is a lot of friends and family discounts to make it that cheap. And we're working to be able to raise that money. But before I give you exactly how we can give, this is your guys' piece. If anyone just has a quick little snippet of like how those changes would benefit you and your programming, because for what I'm doing here as the pastor of the church on Sunday morning, it would be a game changer. It would be so much better. And the people that we could invite, once it's physically able for them to come in, once it's less overwhelming, is going to be a big deal. But just give a little snippet for you guys. Why would it matter for you?
It definitely would matter it would matter for us, for other folks, because you'll hear us and we feel bad, especially if you guys are having a more intimate, more like prayer, or especially the more enclosed meetings, and you don't want to hear to be or not to be while you're having those moments. So we would appreciate having that, just so we don't impact other folks.
That's really, I actually even thought about that, but yes, multiple different programs happening all the time. It allows us to be able to say, yes, you can do your program in here, and yes, you can do your program in here, and it's not super distracting.
And the same for us, because we've used all of those rooms and the cafe and in here at the same time. And a lot of times you can hear other things going on, and sometimes we have to ask people to just quiet it down just a little bit. But one of the other things that I wanted to say that was very important for me here at the Love Center, we know that a lot of programs don't get funding, and programs that do get funding, like mine, I referred a lot of people here. Our agency has to Pastor Jonathan. I think over 40 people have had programs here now. And for those that just really don't have it, but they have a great program or something really good going on, our program tries to pay extra. We pay extra for those that cannot afford to pay, because we know that Pastor Jonathan and his team, they allow everyone to have space here. And when they're referred here, we ask them to give accordingly, right? We talk about the tissues that are used, the trash bags that are used, the electric, the water. So we talk about those things and ask people to give as much as they can, and also give more if you can give more, because that helps out as well. So we want people to keep that in mind.
Yes, so I can give some examples. And since we are talking about community center and we are talking about families, and families come with all kinds of strengths and all kinds of weaknesses and all kinds of issues in families too. So we cannot, at the Y, we always say we cannot just focus on one person in the family, but the whole family together. So when we want to bring families together, definitely we have people who have special needs. I can give you example. In our ESL class, we have Maria, who is from Ukraine, and she's in wheelchair. And she comes to our ESL class, and it's easy for her to come and get in the first room and then leave from there. But we had annual holiday party. And it was just, we thought that the chair we have is going to work, but it didn't. So we really had to pick her up and take her down in the basement to be together with everyone. All my programs are also run by volunteers. And one of our volunteers has a serious issue with her hip. So sometimes, it's hard for her when something is happening in the basement. So I'm all about inclusion, and I just feel like to include everybody, it's very important to have accessibility to the basement and other places. And we can't just tell you how much difference we see, for the noise, where the things are being put, and so it's going to be very helpful. And one thing I wanted to share, which I forgot before, was one of the little child that comes every week, David, he's from Ukraine too. Last week he came and he hugged me on my legs. He's like 6, 7 years old, and he goes, "Thank you so much. You do so much for us." And I was just surprised hearing those words coming out of a 7-year-old boy. But that just made me think that we are the people that these families see every week or twice a week. But there's so much happening behind the scenes that you all do through your giving and through your work that you put into the building. So I just wanted to share that the love you are putting in this building, that is being seen, that is being felt, and that is being appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, for the people at Wildwood, we support people from ages 3 to 93. So we have an aging population as well as young people. And as Pastor John said, with neurodivergency, oftentimes that comes with sensitivity to sound. So improving the acoustics here would definitely be impactful for the people at Wildwood, and the flooring and the bathrooms, just to provide that level of comfort and safety and accommodation. It would be a beautiful gift to the people of Wildwood, the community at large, and if you open your wallets for this initiative, you're opening your heart to them. So thank you.
To kind of piggyback off of what Ms. Val said, when we direct people here, we tell them the story, and it's the same thing. Once they hear what's going on, they're like, "Oh, listen, I'll kick in an extra however much because I can," And we explain to people, if someone doesn't have it, we don't want money to be a barrier. We'll work with them and stuff like that. But that only happens if we're all in it together. So the more people hear about it in the community, they're also investing in that same way. So it's very much a partnership. And then similar to Aaron, we're the loud people in the building. I got my kids here. They're running around. We're doing like superhero stuff. And in the cafe, they're probably like, "Bro, stop," But also, shout out to Upstate Cold Brew over there in the cafe, holding it down. Incredible. But again, as a community resource, these guys have a business, and there's young people back there doing the food. It's all the things. So we are the loud people. So the sound stuff would definitely help us share space with other people. Me and Becca, we were talking to this other camp who's going to be in here too. And we're like, all right, we got to figure out how to make things make sense and share space. And then just on the other side of things, the accessibility piece, we were showing movies here, and we had a group that came, and there was someone in a wheelchair, same thing, who had some difficulty. And just like you said, we're like, listen, we're just going to carry, I don't care, we're going to make it happen. So we picked them up and we carried them in and whatnot. But to make that easier, you know, I'm old, my back hurts, you know, having the accessibility piece would be super helpful. So both of those things would allow for a lot more collaboration and time sharing of the different spaces. And, you know, you're not in it alone. Like, the more that this story goes, the more people are kicking in. And we say to people, this only works if we make it work. You know, if we kick in, we can do it. If nobody does, oh, well, okay, we're back to square one. So we're all in this, we're stronger together, and thank you so much. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, so here's what I would like you to do, is I would like to invite you to join me into giving to that next level of project, to be able to make this acoustically and handicap accessible to many more people. It's $350,000 what it's gonna cost. We have a lead gift so far of $50,000. So we need to raise, which is amazing. We need to raise another $300,000, and we've done it once. We know we can do it again, and we think we can do it the same way. It's just gonna happen by some of you who are able to give dollars, giving dollars. You gave dollars before, and you would have the ability to give dollars again. And I'm generously asking you, inviting you to do that. Some of you gave hundreds of dollars before, and you could give $100 again. Some of you gave thousands of dollars before, and you could give thousands of dollars again. Some of you gave tens of thousands of dollars before, and you could give tens of thousands of dollars again. No one so far has given $100,000, but you could be our first $100,000 giver, and we would very much welcome you. But it's gonna happen when lots of us, I look around the room, I know most of your faces. This isn't like a bunch of like wealthy people, but this is people that have a little bit of extra. And if we all give a little bit of extra and maybe even sacrifice a little bit more, we can really come together to be able to provide for many people and many programs amazing things. And so I'm inviting you to do that. And then last thing for today, and I think that this is the most significant of all of them, is I'm asking you to live all of this out. Because the truth is that this is fine. A building's good. I like that we have a building most days. And the building has gotten a lot better is a good thing. But at the end of the day, what is gonna really move the needle and change lives is not plaster and wood and lights and sheetrock, and even a building that is more accessible to more people is not what is really going to solve the things that we all see happening in our world every day. What is going to change it is people. Individuals who are choosing to live in a new way, a way of love. The book of Ephesians, a guy named Paul wrote 2,000 years ago to one of the very first churches, a church in Ephesus. And he just wrote this simple idea that you could learn a life of love. Because for most of us, it's what's natural is to be selfish. What's natural is to be greedy. What's natural is to live in a scarcity mindset and think that I need to get mine, and if I have any extra, I'll help. But to not live in this extravagant way of love. And what Paul says is that it's possible to not just occasionally love, but that you can learn a life of love. And to learn a life of love, just for a second, we have to talk about Jesus. An important note, this is obviously Sunday morning. We do church services here on a Sunday morning. The programs that happen in this building are not all necessarily Christian. There's Christian programs here and there are non-Christian programs here. There are leaders that run programs that have put their faith and believe in Jesus, and there's leaders that run programs here that are not so sure about this whole Jesus thing. And we are open and welcome to it all. And you should all know that this place is built off of a group of people that have chosen to live in a way of love that is not just a way of love, but is a specific way of love, the way of love of Jesus. And so here's the rest of what Paul says in Ephesians 5. He says, if you want to learn love, watch God. Watch what God does. You ever wonder what God's doing all day? Mostly what God does is just love you. That's what God's doing. Keep company with him and learn a life of love. Observe how Christ loved us. His love was not cautious, but extravagant. He didn't love in order to get something from us, but to give everything of himself. Love like that. And that's what I want to invite each of us into, is to a way of love that is not just, there's lots like, oh, I did that and that was a loving thing to do. I'm inviting you into a way of love that is an extravagant way of love. That is a give everything to other people kind of a love that is the way of Jesus. And so as we lean into that, and as you're invited into that, I want to invite you into two different practices that may be new for some of you, and some of you it might be something that you do on a regular basis. But if you ever come here on a Sunday morning, we often do readings together and then we sing together. And so I want to invite you into those two practices right now. You are all invited. No one is forced to be able to do it. But it's a way for us to be able to just experience a bit and piece of this love. So if you would all join me and stand up together. Band, you guys can go ahead and come on up. We are going to do a responsive reading together. And the way this works is there's going to be some text that is in white that says leader. And so I'm going to play the role of the leader. And so I'll read those parts. And there's some other parts that are in orange that say all. And so you are all. And so I invite you all to say those together with me. And then after that, we're going to sing two songs, and I invite you to sing these songs with us. You can sing loud, you can sing quiet, or you can just sit and kind of just take in the words. But they are all about this idea of us leaning into a way of love. So would you join me in this reading? Today, we celebrate more than a building. We celebrate what can happen when people come together to create space for one another. We celebrate the power of love and generosity. Good job. Over the past year, thousands of people have walked through these doors. People from different neighborhoods, backgrounds, experiences, beliefs, and stories. And there is room for all of us here. This is a place where everyone belongs. You don't have to pretend to be someone else to enter this space. You can bring your whole self, your family, your culture, your questions, your hopes, your struggles, and your story. There's room for all of us here. And then this is the ways of love. Love listens. Love serves. Love makes room. Love shows up for people in practical ways. May we learn to love well. Love shares meals. Love shares resources. Love welcomes strangers. Love forgives enemies. May we learn to love well. Love notices those who are overlooked. Love carries one another's burdens. Love chooses generosity over selfishness. Love speaks truth with kindness. May we learn to love well. Love practices hospitality. Love does not expect anything in return. Love crosses boundaries. Love breaks down walls. Love creates belonging. May we learn to love well. And finally, love is patient with people who are still growing. Love believes that reconciliation is possible, and love works for the good of the whole neighborhood. And love reflects the way of Jesus. May we learn to love well. Let's sing together.